Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Ashok Sharma, Assistant Professor from Department of Biochemistry, All India Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi, India. Today I am going to talk about osmosis from paper membrane transport. Think about a soap bubble which is consist of a thin flexible membrane. This soapy membrane seals the inside air from the outside. Similarly, the cell membrane is a thin, flexible layer that seals the inside of the cell from its outside environment. The cell membrane encloses the contents of all cells, organelles, and many cytoplasmic inclusions and regulate what get in and out. This is called selective permeability of the plasma membrane. Plasma membrane also act as a dam, means for hydrophilic means water soluble molecules that cannot pass freely through the cell membrane, but it does not stop the diffusion of water. Remember about the diffusion that we have studied in previous chapter is the movement of particles from an area of higher concentration to the area of lower concentration. So, regulation of water flow through the plasma membrane as well as its selective permeability nature is necessary important factor in maintaining homeostasis that is crucial for life process. So, in these sections, you will learn about the osmosis, osmotic pressure, osmotic equilibrium, Brownian equilibrium, and electroosmosis. So, these are the following objectives of today's chapters. First, what is osmosis? What factors regulate the osmosis? And how to define the osmotic pressure and osmotic equilibrium? What is the principle of Brownian equilibrium? And what is electroosmosis? So, first we come on the osmosis. So, Greek word called osmos. Osmos means pushing that. So, osmosis is a spontaneous movement of a solvent through a semi-permeable membrane across a solute gradient. Solvent move from a region of lower concentration to the higher concentration of the solute in order to attain a equilibrium. So, net movement of the solvent from lower concentration to the higher concentration of solute is called osmotic flow. If you see this example here, water diffuse across a selectively permeable membrane. In this figure, you see the sugar molecules which are solute, their concentration are not changed on each side. Only solvent, which is water, has changed both sides of the selective permeable membrane. So, this data suggests that this selectivity nature of plasma membrane only allow to move the water molecules from lower concentration of sugar molecules towards the higher concentration of sugar molecules. So, what are the salient features of osmosis? First, osmosis is a very vital process in biological system. Turgor pressures of plant cells is maintained via the osmosis across cell membrane between the cell and its external environment. The net movement of the solvent from lower concentration of solute to the higher concentration of solute is called the osmotic flow. And this important thing about that, there are no energy requirement, means there during this process no ATP molecules is utilized, and there are many medical and health related problems like diarrhea, cholera, edema, and inflammation of the tissues where which are caused due to the disturbance in the osmosis along with other molecular events. So next we learn what factors are responsible to regulate the osmosis. In this picture, you have seen that unequal distribution of the solute particles which are responsible to generate the concentration gradient, or in other words we call it osmotic pressure. This is the one important factor which regulate or control the osmosis. So what is the osmotic pressure? If you see this picture, in this picture the cylinder have the concentrated solution of solute where sugar molecules are dissolved. When this cylinder we keep in the pure water, due to the osmotic pressure, solvent enter into that cylinder through semi-permeable membrane and the total solution height H is raised. So what are the factors which are responsible to increase that height? So it is the extra pressure that is applied to a solution to prevent the passage of solvent into the solution when both are separated by the semi-permeable membrane. So this phenomena is called osmotic pressure. So osmotic pressure is represented by pi is calculated by CRT. This important equation is given by Van 't Hoff and generally called Van 't Hoff formula. Here C is the molar concentration of the solute, R is the gas constant and T is the absolute temperature. So what are the properties of the osmotic pressures? First important thing, osmotic pressure is a colligative property. What mean of colligative property? It means osmotic pressure does not depend on the type of solute or its molecular size. It is only depend on its molar concentration. So the property which does not depend on the solute types or molecular size, only on the concentration of the solute, is called the colligative property. So osmotic pressure is also directly proportional to the concentration of the solute molecules or ions. Unit of the osmotic pressures. How we define the osmotic pressures? The SI unit of osmotic pressure is called osmol. So 1 osmol is defined as number of molecules in gram molecular weight of undissociated. Remember word undissociated solute. Example, 1 gram of molecular weight of glucose, which is 180 gram, is when dissolved in the 1 liter solution is called the 1 osmol. It is equal to the 1 osmol. But interestingly, if you dissolve 1 gram molecular weight of NaCl, which is 58.5 gram, it is equivalent to the 2 osmol instead of 1 osmol, because sodium ion, when you dissolve in the water, it ionize and give the 2 particles, sodium ion as well as chloride ions. But glucose is not such kind of case. So osmotic pressure of biological fluid is frequently expressed in milli osmol. The osmotic pressure of plasma is around between 280 to 300 millimole per liter. Osmotic potential, it is also called solute potential. It is generally a relative value and it is defined as the potential of water molecules to move from a low concentration solution to high concentrated solution across a semi-permeable membrane. Generally, the osmotic potential of pure water is considered as of 0. And the association of solute concentration to solute potential is generally given by Van 't Hoff equation. So minus MIRT, where M is the concentration of the solute in molarity, I is the Van 't Hoff factor, R is the ideal gas constant, and T is the absolute temperature. Generally, We classified the solution in three categories like hypertonic, isotonic and hypotonic. Hyper means above. Above means higher concentration of the solute here. Iso means same when both solutions have the same concentration. And hypo means below. One solution have the less concentration of solute as compared to the other solution. So this picture showing the shape of the RBCs when we put into different solution conditions. Like in hypertonic solution, RBC are shrink, and isotonic, the tone and shape of the RBCs are well maintained, and hypotonic is due to extra entry of the solvent into the RBC, their sizes increase. About this solution we are studying in detail in later slides. Now, if we keep these cells in different solutions, like for example, if we put these cells in the isotonic solutions, isos means equal. So isotonic solution basically what? The concentration of the dissolved solute particle in solution is the same as the concentration of the dissolved substance inside the cells. Here you see the example of one cells, red dot representing the solute molecules and blue dot representing water molecules. So distribution of both solute and water molecules is equal both inside and outside the cells. So solution that exert the same osmotic pressure, or we are also called the isoosmotic. In this kind of isotonic solution, cell retain their normal shape because water molecules move into and out of the cell at the same rate. Now look at the interesting example of fish. When you capture a fish and put into the isotonic solution, so what should happen? So what happened when we put the fish into isotonic solution? There is no change, no effect on the size and shape of the fish, because equal amount of water enter and same amount of water exit. So fish survive very well without any problem. Now consider this another case when we put the cells in hypotonic solution. Hypo means under, means they are less solute concentration. Here two interesting examples. One is the cells, animal cells, another is the plant cells. So basically in hypotonic solution, the concentration of the dissolved substance is lower in the solution outside the cell than the inside concentration of the cells. So again, red dot representing the solute molecules and blue dot representing water molecules. If you see, the concentration of the solute particles are inside inside the cell is more as compared to the outside. So cells, more water are going inside. So cells undergo swelling due to more entry of the water and less exit of the water molecules due to the osmosis. So let's see, we put the fish in a hypotonic solution, means when we putting the saltwater fish into the freshwater fish tank. So let's see what's going on. So we have seen some interesting result here. The fish would be swell and it may be even burst due to more water is enter inside the fish due to high concentration of the solute inside the fish. Now we study another case of hypertonic solutions. When we put the cells in hypertonic solution, what's going on? Hyper means over. So hypertonic solution basically when the concentration of dissolved substance outside the cell is higher than the concentration inside the cells. Here we are showing the animal cells as well as plant cells. So when we put these both cell, plant cell and animal cell, under the hypertonic solution, cells undergo shrinkage because due to presence of high solute concentration outside the system, the more solvent are come out from inside to the outsides, both animal cell as well as in plant cells, and both cells are shrink in the hypertonic solution due to osmosis. Now we look out the case when we put a fish into the hypertonic solution, means freshwater fish. Now let's we put the fish in an hypertonic solution. So basically means when we putting a freshwater fish in a saltwater tank. So let's see what's going on. We get the very interesting result here. After putting the freshwater fish into the saltwater fish tank, fish are shrivel like a resin. Reason behind that? Due to more solvent are come outside through the phenomena of osmosis as compared to the more solvent going inside, because outside is solution is the hypertonic condition. Reverse osmosis, generally it is also called RO. This reverse osmosis concept given by Professor Reed and his colleague in 1915. What happened this phenomena? Basically, you see this tank here, one side is the salt water present and other side is fresh water, and both solutions are divided by semi-permeable membrane. So in salt water side we put extra pressure, which is generally more than the osmotic pressure is applied to one side of a solution with higher solute concentration in order to obtain pure solvent at other side. When we put these extra pressure more than osmotic pressure in salt solution side, so pure solvent water molecules are move away from the semi-permeable membrane and give the fresh waters, and all solute particles are retained on the applied pressure sides. So this phenomena is basically called reverse osmosis, and this phenomena basically have a lot of biological applications and help to remove the bacteria from impure water, and this phenomena also used to desalination of the seawater. There are a lot of naturally existing examples of osmosis. Importance are like vacuoles in the plant cells have higher solute concentration, which is lower than the cell's cytosols. That is, turn has higher solute concentration than the extracellular environment. So the water comes inside the cytosol and into the vacuole, but the cell does not undergo osmotic burst, as it has a rigid cell wall, which increase the pressure inside the cell called turgor pressure, but not the cell volume. This pressure pushes the cell wall. Osmosis also play important role in plant cell elongations. Plant cells undergo cell division by expanding the cell's vacuoles by hormone-induced mechanism by loosening of the cell wall. As shown in this figure, plant cells have vacuole, cytoplasm and nucleus. These vacuoles absorb more water through the phenomena of osmosis, and auxin and hormones stimulate the cells to become elongated, and vacuoles due to more osmosis have more water and it start going expand and get the definite shape by the plant cells. Here in figure B you see rigid wall after auxin hormone treatment, activation of the proton export lowering the cell wall pH, which start the phenomena of activation of expansions, which disturbing the hydrogen bonding between the cellulose and microfibrils and loosen the cell walls. Through this procedure, plant cells undergo elongations. So, in short, osmosis play a very important role in plant cell elongations. In protozoans, the cell does not have cell wall, but the vacuoles take up all the water that comes inside the cell through osmosis and move it out of the cell by integrating with the plasma membrane. Thus, it doesn't cause any osmotic burst. Similarly, in the case of frog oocytes, the frog oocytes and the eggs lack the water channel protein called aquaporin, which are normally present in erythrocytes, RBCs, and the other cell type. So no water is enter in the oocytes that help to prevent the osmotic burst in the frog oocytes. Osmosis also play a very crucial role in regulation of the diarrhea. In the case of diarrhea, the sodium ion uptake by the sodium-potassium ATPase and glucose by GLUT2 receptors of the epithelial cell of intestine into the blood and generating the osmotic gradient. This osmotic gradients leads to the flow of water into the blood from the intestine and hence rehydrating the body and prevent the complications arises due to the diarrhea. As shown in this picture, these are the epithelial cells which line the intestine and alveoli and villi, finger-like structure called villi, and these have the GLUT2 receptors as well as sodium-potassium channel. These glucose are absorbed from the intestine and pass through the epithelial cell into the blood. Similarly, sodium glucose symport mechanism are activated, which help to move the sodium ion inside the blood and potassium from outside into the lumens, which help to create the osmotic gradient, and due to this osmotic gradient, water leads to the water flow and preventing the complications of the diarrhea in the patients. So, generally when a diarrhea patient is come in the clinic, doctor advise to take sugar salt solution to save the life of the patient from the diarrhea and from the dehydration caused by the diarrhea. In this picture, you have seen the structure of stomata which are present in the leaf of the plants. So osmosis also play a very important role, their opening and closing of the stomata. The opening and closing of the guard cell present in the stomata is due to potassium and chloride ion influx, which causing the water to enter in the cells and causing the cells to burst outwards, and result stomata become open. Similarly, the closing of stomata is due to the reverse process by the efflux of ion and movement of water outside. So the opening and closing of the stomata is tightly regulated. When there is low level of CO2, the water come inside the guard cells, and if in the case of excess water evaporation, the potassium ion move outside the cells through a hormone regulation, which is formation of the abscisic acids. Thus, we conclude that osmosis is a very important phenomena which regulate the opening and closing of the stomata in plant. Donnian membrane equilibrium is also known as Gibbs-Donnian equilibrium, named after the physicist Josiah Willard Gibbs. This principle, also called Donnian effect or Donnian law. According to this principle, or how we define that, it is defined as the uneven charge distribution along one side of the membrane. As this charged solute cannot diffuse through the membrane, so it accumulating on one side and creating the concentration gradient of the ions across the membrane, which is then maintained by the diffusion of other permeable solute like ion. So this effect, this type of equilibrium we call Donnian membrane equilibrium. The living cells contained impermeable ionic colloids which cannot cross the membrane. These can be proteins or organic phosphates, creating Donnian equilibrium in the interior of the cells. As shown in this figure, to balance the environment, the water tries to move inside through the property of osmosis, but to protect the cell from rupturing, the ATP-dependent sodium-potassium channel continuously pushes the sodium ion out of the cells. Also, due to the impermeability of the membrane of sodium ions, the cell prevents it to re-entering the cells. Hence, this condition generating the second Donnian equilibrium. These two Donnian effects balance each other and prevent the cells from osmotic burst. There are many salient features of Donnian membrane equilibrium. Important ones are the concentration of the diffusible ion which are easily diffused through the plasma membrane is influenced by the presence of non-diffusible ion across the membrane. Second, the concentration of the oppositely charged ion, for example sodium, is greater on the side of the membrane containing non-diffusible ion like proteins. The concentration of the similarly charged ion like chloride is higher on the side of the membrane not containing on the non-diffusible ions. So, the net concentration of the total ion will be greater on the side of the membrane containing non-diffusible ion, which is responsible to develop a osmotic pressure difference on either side of the membrane. There are a number of applications of Donnian membrane equilibrium in our daily life. These principles play a very important role in osmotic imbalance. It also helps to study the difference in ionic concentrations of the biological fluids, and it plays a very crucial role in membrane hydrolysis and lower pH in the RBCs. Electroosmosis. Electroosmosis is the motion of the fluid in the capillary when the electric field is applied. This phenomena is called electroosmosis. And motion of flow is directly proportional to the electric field. So it depends upon the material used from capillary and surface of solution in touch of wall. Second, motion is due to electric force on the ion in the double layer. And third one, in thin layer of the ion that is located near a wall is exposed to an aqueous solution. The flow of the solution, if uniform across the capillary, then fluid velocity would be uniform, far from the wall, but it would decay to zero at the wall over the length scale ranging from approximately 0.5 to 200 nanometer. Here you see the structure of the capillary, which here have two types of charge, one negative near the wall and positive away from the walls generated by the solution. So the first layer is known as Sutton layer or Helmholtz layer, and its surface charge depending upon the material of the capillary used. Generally, we use the borosilicate, which provide negative charge to the membrane. The second layer is diffuse layer and is made of the ions from the solution, and it gives the positive charge to that layer. It is the moving layer and depends upon the electric field applied across membrane. When electric potential is applied across the membrane, the diffuse layer moves from one side of the membrane and drag the solution with itself. Electroosmosis is defined in terms of mobility and velocity. So mobility mu is given by mu EOF equal to eta zeta divided by nu. So here zeta is the potential of the double layer on the capillary wall. This potential depends upon the ionic strength. As the pH varies, the zeta potential also varies. At high pH, the selenol group get deprotonated, which increasing the net charge on capillary wall. Hence, the zeta potential increases. So, the electroosmotic flow increase with increase in the pH. This varies when pH varies from 2 to 12. Eta is the dielectric constant and nu is the viscosity of the solution. Unit is kilogram per second meter. And V is the velocity. It is the mobility multiplied by electric field, the ability to move in the electric field. So V EOF is equal to F micro EOF. The flow of solution, if uniform across the capillary, the fluid velocity would be uniform far from the wall, but it would decay to zero at the wall over a length scale. The flow induced by pump shows the parabolic motion as the flow is applied to the entire cross sections. So the velocity of solution in the center is more than the velocity of the solution in contact with the capillary wall due to the frictional force. But in the case of electroosmotic flow, the bulk flow is due to the primary action of cations near the surface. So the force is distributed throughout the surface. The flat flow falls directly at the surface of capillary due to the frictional force it encounters, but to a lower extent than the pump-induced flow. The electroosmotic flow results in compact peak than the broad peak, which is seen in the parabolic laminar flow in this figure because of the analytes which is separated in large area. So now we are discuss what are the applications of osmosis. First application is blood volume and fluid balance. Osmosis principle is significantly contribute to maintain the fluid balance in different compartment of the body. Second is the transfusion. Generally, when patient visited in the hospital, doctor give the saline, which is 0.9% NaCl or 5% glucose or any other combinations like DNA dextrose, normal saline. These solutions are isotonic. Isotonic means that the concentration is same as the biological body fluid. And these type of solution help to treat the patient of dehydration, burn or cholera, dysentery, diarrhea. So in this way, osmosis have a great medical applications. Third one is the action of purgatives. The Epsom salt, magnesium sulfate, hydrated magnesium sulfate, or generally called Glauber salts, sodium sulfate, withdraw water from the body via phenomena of osmosis instead of preventing the intestinal water absorptions. So, the mechanism of purgative action is also based on the osmotic phenomena. Another applications of the osmosis is the osmotic diuresis. High glucose concentration in blood is responsible for osmotic diuresis, resulting in the loss of water, electrolytes, as well as glucose in the urine. This medical complication is called diuresis. So this is a base of the polyuria observed in the diabetes mellitus. So diuresis can be produced by administering the compound which are filtered but not reabsorbed by renal tubules. Example is the mannitol. So next application of osmosis we have seen in RBC and their fragility. As we discussed in previous slide, there are three types of solutions like isotonic solution, hypertonic solution and hypotonic solution. So isotonic solution is like, for example, 0.9% NaCl, which are normal salines and routinely used in the clinics. So when we give a drip to the patients, which is isotonic in nature, so RBC volume remain unchanged and their shape and tone is intact as shown in this figure, because equal amount of water enter and same amount of water exit from the RBCs. Similarly, when we put in the hypertonic solutions, RBC undergoes shrinkage due to outflow of water, and this phenomena is called crenation. While in the hypotonic solution, RBCs undergo hemolysis due to entry of water that often cause due to rupture of plasma membrane. So next application of the osmosis is osmotic fragility test. It is very crucial test for RBCs employed in the laboratory for diagnostic purpose. Basically, increased facility of RBCs is observed in hemolytic jaundice, and due to that RBC undergo dissections and cause certain type of anemia. Generally, RBC of normal human blood begin to hemolysis in 0.45% of NaCl, and the hemolysis is almost complete, 0.33% NaCl. So, osmotic fragility test is very crucial for RBCs is employed to diagnose the anemia in the patients. So, students, let's now summarize what we have learned in this module. Osmosis is a spontaneous movement of solvent, example water, through a semi-permeable or selectively permeable membrane across a solution gradient from a region of lower solute concentration to a region of higher solute concentration in order to attain equilibrium. Second, there are many medical and health related problems are occurring due to disturbance in the osmosis. Notable examples are diarrhea, cholera, edema or inflammation of the tissue and so on. And osmotic pressures are concentration gradient which is generated due to unequal distribution of the solute particle is the key factor that control osmosis. Osmotic pressure pi, which is calculated by Van 't Hoff formula, pi is equal to CRT. C is the concentration, R is the gas constant and T is the absolute temperature. And osmol is the unit of the osmotic pressure where we measure the osmotic pressure. And next one is the osmotic potential, has many important implications for living organisms. The solution that exert the same osmotic pressure we call the isoosmotic. So on the basis of osmotic pressure there are different type of solutions like isotonic solution, hypertonic solution, hypotonic solution. The term Isotonic is used when cell is in direct contact with the isosmotic solution like 0.9% NaCl, which does not change the cell volume, and thus the cell tone is maintained, shape is maintained. A solution with relatively greater osmotic pressure is referred to a hypertonic solution. We discussed with the example of fishes and in the lecture. On the other hand, a solution with relatively lower pressure is hypotonic. So according to Donian law, we also discussed like Donian law. So according to that law, concentration of the diffusible ion is influenced by the presence of non-diffusible ion across the membrane. It helps to explain the osmotic pressure difference because it provides the detailed information about differential distribution of ion in the different compartment of the body. And another is the electroosmosis, which is defined as the motion of the fluid in the capillary when electric field is applied. So in briefly, osmosis is an important phenomena and play a crucial role in maintain blood volume, RBC shape, purgative during transfusion as well as in diuresis. Thank you, students.